I'm here today with Michael Danklefs. Michael is a Lifebook leader and part of the Lifebook Leaders Transition and Evolve team. I'm just going to start in with a few questions about you, Michael, and Lifebook. So first up, can you share a little bit about yourself and how you found Lifebook?
Sure, absolutely. Thank you for asking. So for me, I've been working in tech for a really long time and had several different transitions in my life. So it was about the time that I was divorced for my second time that I really started looking at developing me and trying to figure out who I was. So I had joined a personal development platform called Mind Valley, where I was learning things like speed reading and about the power of manifesting and things like that. And I saw this program come up of, hey, are you living a full life? Are you living a fulfilling life? Are you actually covering all these categories? And it intrigued me that one, there was a system, and two, that there was this opportunity to look at some of those factors of life that I haven't figured out yet. And that really kind of played to on several different levels of I want to learn more about me and how I show up in the world, but also that there's someone who's been on this path already and struggled certainly as part of their life and in a segment, and in their recovery from that struggle they actually found strength. So that really intrigued me and got me really interested in being able to use a framework to play in.
Right. All right. So you were definitely ready when you came across the program to actually delve deeper, which is cool.
Absolutely.
All right. So we are currently in January, and January, the first month of the year, we cover the category of health and fitness in Lifebook. What's your take on health and fitness?
So health and fitness is one that I've struggled with for a while, and at the same time it's the one that I desire the most. So I was very athletic in school when I was younger, for sure, but I'm also a taller of stature person. I'm 6'5", so and I've also always been a large person as well, and I I recently did the Lifebook assessment. It's one of the tools that we use in the Lifebook system, and said I want to really focus on my career. And it always comes back with, well, the supporting category is this over here. And it just so happens health and fitness is what it says is the supporting category. I'm like, I thought I was getting away for focus on that for a little while. But at the same time, it is, I'm on several different accountability groups, and one of them specifically is focusing on my health. So it is as much about, for me, health and fitness is not just, hey, can I lift weights? It's also, do I feel well in my body? Can I move? Am I flexible? Am I agile? Am I dexterous in the way that I want to use my body? So it covers quite a few different categories, and it is the movement practices. It's also the food I'm choosing to put in my body, as well as sleep, water, that sort of thing. So it is rather all-encompassing, but of all of the Lifebook categories, it's the one that I found is the most tangible. You can actually take action and see relatively quick results. And it's one reason why I love the fact that it's the first one, because most people know, eat better, move more. But how do you then build that into a system that serves yourself? Because yes, those are general good rules, but what kind of movement is good for you? And what kind of nutrition is good for you? Because it's not the same for everybody. Yes, we have a basic diet, I believe, that is part of what we can consume, but some people are plant-based, others are carnivore, and all the extremes in between. So for me, this category, that it kind of encompasses some of that discovery about, well, what actually is healthy for me. And it's been foundational for sure of getting me back on track for feeling better in this meat suit I'm carrying around with me in order to interact with the world.
Right. And I can certainly see it, as you say, it's a very individual journey, and I think people can pick that up quite quickly with health and fitness. Just how individual the pathway is, and I guess that's what Lifebook is all about, is finding that pathway for yourself that is unique to you, and recognizing that in just how individual our bodies are, and what's best for us, or what we can
Absolutely.
find that works for us, which is very cool. Yes. So we are now into 2025. How does having a life book make a difference to how you approach a new year?
Well, if you were to roll back the clock, say 10 years, I would be coming into the new year as just any other day. So instead, for being in the community as well as actually using the life book as a system, it's a time of transition for sure, and more than just our resolutions. So those goals, those things we want to accomplish. So how it's going to make a difference for this year is I reset my goals for this coming year with the knowledge of what I've already measured for the last year. So it is kind of that transition of taking the wisdom from the last year and applying it into my approach for the next year. There's also a couple of other assessments or tools that we use as well. And one of the other ones is, what is your word or phrase for the year? Last year was spicy for me, and this year it's evolution. And kind of going through the process of reviewing the last year helped me discover what is that next catalyst to move forward to the next year. But I don't think that I would have been able to make some of those decisions if I hadn't built up a history of what did work for me and what didn't. It also allowed me to kind of reset my habits. As another one of the tools that we use in Lifebook as well, is having a set of habits that you track that move you toward your life vision. So it's great to have the goal, but unless you have actions and steps to get there, it doesn't much matter. So I can just think about it randomly, hey, maybe I'll work on that thing. But instead, if there's something that is habitual, something that you're doing every day, every week, every month, that I think very much shifted how I approach this concept, to the point that working on my business and in my job have led to things that I wouldn't have expected, because I put intention into it after taking all the time and forethought of building my life book in order to get there.
Great, thank you, Michael. Yeah, good to hear. Okay, the next month will be February, and February is Intellectual Life Month. What does intellectual life mean to you?
It's interesting, because when we hear people talk about body, mind, and spirit, it's kind of the progression that we generally go to. And I would very much agree that we start with the physical, and then we talk about the thought, the imagination, the manifestation. And to me, it's as much about consuming the right information for us to stimulate intellectual processes. It's also about making wise decisions, asking the right questions, but it's also about creating quality information as well. Because it's the idea of, yes, intellectual life is, yes, our processing, but it's also making those discerning decisions about what do we put in and what do we put out. One of my favorite things that I've heard when we talk about this particular category is, your intellectual life should be like breathing. You can't just breathe in. You have to breathe out sometimes. And it's a matter of being aware of that and really kind of setting goals around that specifically. So the intellectual life to me is how we process, and what we produce.
Awesome, I like that. How we process, and what we produce. Yeah. Okay, great. Thank you. Okay, so leading from that, I guess, what is your area of expertise or niche when it comes to sharing the Lifebook program?
So I have a tendency to focus more with men in the work that I do. I've done a fair amount of work on a men's team, and some of the tools that I've used there have been very helpful. And where I tend to come from this place is actually moving from a place of regret into thriving. We all make decisions, we all make choices that can have unintended consequences. Sometimes they're even intended consequences, but we don't realize how impactful they are. But if we only live in the past, yes, they can inform where we are in the present, but we need to leave it behind when we move into our future. So that tends to be one of the areas of expertise that I play in, is helping men overcome those things of, who are you choosing to be now? Who are you choosing to show up as now? And some of the places that I actually bring that is using what I like to call sacred listening, So listening not just for what's said, but what's meant and what's in between, combined with ruthless compassion. Because sometimes we need that reminder of, what the heck are you doing right now? You said last week this was important to you. What happened? And sometimes it requires a little bit of a kick in the butt in order to wake us up. That isn't necessarily where I start from, but sometimes it is required in order to get someone out of their cycle, to actually break the pattern, is really to kind of interrupt them. But another piece that I overlay on top of the Lifebook framework as well, that I would consider that area of expertise, is the systems. This is a great framework, but I like putting it inside of other systems and make sure that they're interconnected. So I use a workspace manager called Notion. And my Lifebook and my categories are in there, my goals are in there, and the tracking is in there, so that whenever I actually apply a goal, it's actually can be linked to a vision statement. Whenever I'm actually looking at all of my goals over time, I can actually plot it out. And if I'm going to be doing journal entries, I can attach it to a task, I can attach it to a goal, I can attach it to a category. So then there's it's building this web, if you will, and seeing how all these things are connected. Because whenever I am working in my spiritual category, it does have an impact on my intellectual as well, and emotional. If I'm meditating, I could do just about every single one of the categories. I can impact all 12 categories of Lifebook by sitting down and meditating for 20 minutes, depending on what I'm focusing on and what response I'm actually getting from the layers of my being.
Thank you. Okay. So having mentioned you have your great expertise with Notion, Michael, you are one of the founding leaders for the Lifebook Leaders Transition and Evolve project. Could you tell us a little bit about what Lifebook Leaders Transition and Evolve is?
Absolutely. So, to me, the LLT&E, or Lifebook Leaders Transition Evolve crew, the project, the collaboration, the co-elevation, depending on what label we want to put on it, is a collection of people who are Lifebookers almost at their soul level. It's people who have invested a lot in making this part of their lifestyle, not something that they just sketch out in really quick and put it on the shelf and leave it behind. They're people who are actually really living this as a lifestyle. And they've been certified to facilitate it for other people. They found so much value in what they've received from it that they've actually are bringing out to others so that they can have the same levels of success and fulfillment and goal setting and moving forward in their life. But a lot of us were certified, yes, but we were all on our own different paths, going a bunch of different directions. And LLT&E was a way for us to focus some of that effort into the same direction, so we can actually really support each other and leverage our strengths to offset our weaknesses. Because all of us have experiences prior to doing Lifebook, if it's in business, or if it is in sales, or if it is in financing, or system administration, or website building, or all these other things. It was an opportunity for us to all bring that to bear together rather than doing it all solo. At the foundation, it really is a collaboration amongst people who have a similar idea of following in the vision of what John and Missy Butcher have, which is to have 1 million people on the planet who are living through their Lifebook. And that's really what LLT&E, to me, is that extended arm of bringing this out to the world so that others can feel the magic that's possible with living this 12 category smart life.
Thank you, Michael. Thank you so much for chatting with me today, and it's been really good to delve a little bit deeper into what being a Lifebook leader means to you, and the aspects around that. So thank you very much.
Thank you, Maddie.